Ready?
Yeah.
You look ready.
And I'm ready. I'm super ready. It's time to talk Mission Impossible. That's right. It's Sunday night at Week's End. We just had another major movie release. That means we're going to be talking about that movie tonight in a spoiler special edition of the show, which means special guest appearances. If you want to know who's here to join Sector and myself, don't go anywhere. Hit the thumbs up, subscribe to the channel. Let's go. Good evening, Paul.
How are you, Mark?
I'm tired, bro. I'm so tired. I'm sitting here chugging like a double helping of the espresso coffee in here. But
Wow.
I'm excited to be here all the same. But it's a busy holiday weekend. Hope everybody's having a good weekend. If you're able to spend it with your friends and your families or everything, just remember why you're able to, and be sure to send one up for the people who aren't able to, that gave us the ability to. So remember that Memorial Day is a day of honoring people. It's not a day of happy this, happy that. And yeah, I hope people keep that in mind. Because I know we got some friends that serve in the military and stuff that we've met through this community. And I see them regularly putting up posts trying to remind people what this day is all about. Because it's easy to get some of these confused because we just get to enjoy the benefits of other people's service and sacrifice.
People kind of conflate sometimes. They conflate this with Veterans Day, and they're really two different things.
Yeah. So yeah, keep that in mind, and I hope everybody does get to spend the day however you want to spend the day, whether it be friends, family, just relaxing, whatever it is. And let's get into it. It's been an interesting week. Some good books came out. I'll be honest with you, I'm not up to speed on any kind of news that might have dropped or any kind of announcements along the way. I do know that the Ringo Awards were announced last week, which me and Paul talked about after the stream. And we got a little while.
The Eisners, not the Ringos.
I'm sorry, the Eisner Awards. And there's a few more weeks before that wraps up. So we'll probably cover those and look at all the categories and the nominations. The past few years, it's always been a blast to look at the nominees for that because I've been trying to tell people, you do too, DC's firing on all cylinders and is very reflective in any kind of award or accolades that go out to any of these ongoing titles. You see them painted across the nominees, but we're here to talk Mission Impossible first and foremost, and ironically, Final Reckoning. And to do that, we had to call in some backup as always. And tonight we have a very special guest, a very appropriate guest to talk movies with us. That's none other than a man by many names, man of many talents. He goes by Jonathan Medici. He goes by J-Med. He goes by different things. He goes by Eric Creator, all kinds of
Comic
stuff.
Avalon.
John Comic Avalon. Yeah, that was actually a stripper name. That was a typo. He was supposed to change that one day.
I've had a lot of careers too, not just names. Don't out me like that.
Hey, you got a mouth to feed. We're not judging.
Yeah, I got 6 kids to feed.
Yeah, but I'm glad you can be here tonight. For those that don't know, John is the creator of the book Eric, which I've had the pleasure of reading advanced copy of, that will be launching. I think you're running it through Kickstarter, right? When it comes time, the book is made. Like, I have my copy. I have an advanced special copy.
Yep. Book's been done for about a year now. Had to get it to some people. I think Paul might have even.
Very good.
Thank you. I appreciate it. It's just been some good times trying to get the right cover for the book. So I think we're on track for that. And then hopefully we'll do the Kickstarter campaign at the end of June, maybe July 1st. Hopefully that'll be the day. Hopefully. I've been saying that for a long time, but I think hopefully this is actually legit. So stay tuned for that, everybody.
How difficult that journey has to be, not just getting it launched, but just the actual creating something like that, and like communication with the artwork, trying to figure out what you want to do for a cover, much less who you want to do it, and all the pieces that go into it. Because there's not to blow up his spot, but there's some recognizable names that'll be associated with this. So be on the lookout. I'll definitely be blowing it up when we get there. He'll be back on the channel. We're going to he doesn't do YouTube, so we're going to roll it out heavy on this channel. We're going to be talking about it, I'm sure, on Sector's channel.
Thank you.
We'll be talking about it on Friday nights on DJ's channel. We're going to blow this thing up the best we can.
Thank you.
Blow it up in a good way.
What I'm trying to say is the check arrived. The check
Okay.
arrived. I appreciate it.
Oh, okay. Oh, good. Yeah. I wasn't sure. Don't cash it yet. Wait for the
Yeah.
Kickstarter, but
I saw the date you wrote
Hold up.
on it. Yeah.
hold up. Yeah, hold up.
Yeah. But say hey to some of the people in the chat real quick. It only got 8 people watching. It's The Last of Us counter program it. Plus, there's a lot of stuff going on the holiday weekend. So if you're watching with us live tonight or even on the rewind, thank you so much for taking the time to spend some of it with us. I'm very excited to talk this movie. But the adventurous one, Joseph Michaels, love you, homie. Always here, always holding it down. And I got to tell you, I love this guy. He's like the best person in the world you could possibly send to an advanced screening of something. He never spoils anything. He always gets you more excited to see stuff. And I'm excited to finally you talk full spoilers and have him here with us to do it. You need to trust me one last time. I'm excited, man. We're going to be talking about a lot of these scenes tonight. Comics with Kids, what's up, homie? I've been going back and forth with him since he saw it last night. Down the road when our schedules collide. He's another one of those pesky West Coasters like you, John, that is just hard to coordinate sometimes. But your mission, should you choose to accept it, see Mission Impossible 8 at the theater near you. Dude, it was what a theater experience it was. Like that's said often, go see it on the biggest screen possible. There's only a few movies that genuinely hold up to that statement. I'd say that any movie is a better experience, but some of them is legitimately a must-see because you cannot replicate anything close to the same experience. And this is one of those films.
100% agree.
Yeah. Avatar, the Jurassic Park movies. There's just some of them.
I hardly ever go to IMAX, but I went to IMAX to see this one.
Dude, it was insane. Yeah, R.I.P. Peter David. Yeah, we'll be touching on that in just a little bit, I'm sure, after the Mission Impossible talk. He was a legend among legends. Yes, he was. Yes, he was. Yeah, John here. Brian LCS, what's going on, homie? The CBC. I haven't gone back and watched that video yet. I guess I could check IG. Are the nominations open?
No, beginning of June.
Okay. So I'm not behind. Brian organizes the Comic Book Community Awards, so be sure to follow the Comic Book Community Awards. I guess it might just be CBC Awards or Comic Book Community Award. Anyways, Brian, you have a wrench. You can drop the link. It's got a separate YouTube channel now, as well as an Instagram. But start following over there because it's a fun little thing that he puts on. It's a great way for the community to come together like butt cheeks and argue over stupid shit that doesn't matter.
And the website is cbcawards.org.
It is, but it's super fun. What is going on, Donovan? We got House of L in here. LFG to you too, John. What is up, Kenny B? Good to see you. J-Med is our Ethan Hunt of the comic community. Yes. Sledge, what's up, homie? Yo, Paul. So Friday, Paul knows I was at my daughter's award ceremony. She had not her graduation, that's Wednesday, but just her Honors Day awards. She goes to a smart kids school, like a special school for gifted youngsters.
So she doesn't take after her dad, is what you're saying?
What I'm saying is she might be a mutant. But it's funny because we sit through this 3-hour-long, just excessively long thing where they're like, the next award is for students with a 3.5 GPA or higher. And I'm happy to say that's 100% of the student body. And so let's call them all up one at a time. Like, come on, guys. So, and like, there's like so many of these kids, like they're all geniuses pretty much. But walking out, me and my mom, and walking out right behind me is Sledge. Our kids go to the same school.
Oh, nice.
Absolutely wild.
Okay.
Yeah. Small
And if you didn't see Mark's Instagram of the picture from the graduation ceremony or from the award ceremony, like there were like 5 or 6 people in the picture, and every one of them had a certificate that she got, practically.
Should have multiple, yeah.
That's what I'm saying. So she got at least 5 or 6 certificates for everybody.
Yeah, I'm holding 2, and then every single one of the tassels she was wearing was a separate accolade. I don't know. Yeah. Lots of them, just lots of stuff. Lots of stuff. If you've seen Professor X, you're in the right place, Mark. Yeah, exactly. But yeah, so let's get into it. So again, front end. If you're watching this and you haven't gone and checked out the video last week, it's the time to do it. It's like the last week to really get in where you fit in. But look for this video right here. Enter the giveaway. This is a giveaway video, the Epic Summer Giveaway. There's multiple prizes to be won, multiple ways to enter, from leaving a hashtag on there to being in the live chat, just all kinds of stuff. Prizes for any and everybody, including limited stuff for channel members. But literally anybody can enter this giveaway, and anybody can have multiple chances to win multiple different prizes. So check that out and consider joining the channel membership if you want a shot at that other one as well. Super epic big one in there. But yeah, good stuff. Check that out. I want people to get in where you fit in for that. But Mission Impossible comes to a close with Final Reckoning released this past Thursday. I don't even know why they pretend like movies come out on Fridays. But a 30-year-long franchise, and we've potentially just watched the final installment in it. Obviously, nothing stays dead forever, but this is the end of an era. Even if they come back for another one in some form or fashion, whether it be with or without Tom Cruise, this is truly the finale to this 8-film saga. This whole franchise is an anomaly and a treat. It's an exception to most any and all rules of cinema. And I'm going to go around the horn and just give it just your base rating. However you want to rate it, out of 10, out of 100, out of 5, ring system, color code, whatever. But Paul, what do you give this movie?
I'm going to give it a 9 out of 10 rings.
John?
I'm going to own my bias first by saying I love Tom Cruise. So I'm going to see whatever he's going to see. So you can qualify that with my score, but I'm going to give this an 8 out of 10.
I'm going to give it a solid green. Solid green. I, too, am a Tom Cruise fan. I enjoy picking fights with people by defending this guy's mental capacity in public forums. But he's truly one of the last great actors in Hollywood. He literally saved the industry in a large way. And the things that he does never cease to legitimately amaze me, wow me. It stuns me when I go see these movies. So where to even begin with this movie? Like the plot, it's quick synopsis. It's a direct follow-up to Dead Reckoning that came before. We are dealing with the entity again. We know from the end of the last film that we now have the key that unlocks the door on the submarine where the source code for the AI is. They have to get the source code so that they can poison it and poison the AI. It's pretty straightforward. I know I've seen a lot of people talking about it was convoluted. It's a lot going on. It was hard to follow. I'm like, well, you didn't watch the last one because we did an entire movie on half of the plot of this one. All we had to do was get there now.
Yeah, and I'm not going to pretend that they had this long-term plan for everything, but they Jeff John the shit out of everything, all the earlier movies.
Yeah, they did. Yeah,
good way to put it. I like it. I think the stuff that people are talking about, like this, the plot is actually really simple, but if you like parse out the movie, like especially in the first 45 minutes of it, we have these sequences where they drop in with huge blocks of exposition that literally, if you had a notebook, you wouldn't be able to follow what's going on. But the truth is, it's like it's just for that block of the movie. It's not for the entirety of it. So you don't really need to get lost or. Because I've seen some people say that it's like giant exposition dumps. It's like, yeah, but it's not like with or without that stuff. You could still watch and enjoy the entire film. Like those are just for this.
Every single Mission Impossible film starts with a giant exposition dump, typically with someone bringing Tom Cruise the message or him going somewhere and sitting down and listening to a message, which is a giant exposition dump of something that happened since the last movie that is setting the stage. And it starts with your mission, if you choose to accept, and then goes into a long, whole blocked out thing. Like, since you captured blah, 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 and da-da-da-da-da, his acolytes have been active and not resisting. And since then they've toppled this and that and this, and they stole plutonium here and da-da-da-da-da. And then we start a movie with all that exposition and at the plutonium exchange before the opening title credits even start for Rogue Nation. Like, they're all like that. And this one was no exception, but what it did differently was, that's one thing about these epic openings to them before the fuse gets lit. And I love this one in a sense that we started with the entity itself, and we're getting lines of dialogue from characters from the entire franchise. As soon as I started hearing some of them talking, like, oh, snap, I picked up on it right off the bat. And then I was just sitting there smiling, thinking back on all these things. And it was really setting the stage and letting me as a viewer know everything that came before this is about to matter, which is, I think, super smart to do because they've been running the tagline for this whole two-parter that your life is the sum of your choices. So they actually put that into action in this movie, which I thought was really smart. the bombing of the Kremlin. Oh, it was meant to kill him. Yeah.
Yeah. Rabbit foot. Oh, by the way, that's the start of the entity.
Dude, like I called that weeks ago that they
Yeah.
better tell us what was in the rabbit's foot. And they did. It was like the original like base coding for the entity.
Mhm.
How that was kind of genius because they let us to believe it was some kind of biological agent, which what we just did that in Mission Impossible 2. So it was cool that they kind of went back and switched it up a little bit with that. But what y'all think of the entire like character dynamic in this one? Because it felt really different compared to the other ones, where his team's normally kind of more together, more planning together, executing plans together. This one felt a lot more chaotic, and they kind of felt a little bit spread out compared to the other ones.
Paul, what do you think?
Yeah, no, I agree. I think that I think they played it well, though. I think more than in any other movie that I can remember is they truly felt as though they were always like 2 steps behind what they were chasing, what they were going after. Whether it be everybody in the room in the the military installation, or even Tom Cruise and everybody else. Um, but it's funny because although they were 2 steps behind, it was Tom Cruise's team, especially to me, especially like Ving Rhames, who
Oh,
was
Luther's awesome.
one step ahead of him.
Yeah, I thought it was really cool, and I also thought it was kind of like this was my theater experience. As I was sitting there, I was like, this is kind of a nod to Tom, because we got to see him kind of solo for some of the sequences, like the sub sequence with like the Hunt for Red October nod, Abyss nod, and then there's literally no dialogue, and we're just like watching him go through the entire like chaotic event like without his team, and he's just by himself. And I was like, I think that's actually a really solid way to send it off, because it's we saw it in the end too with the plane sequence. It's like we're seeing Tom Cruise kind of from 1 to 8 like doing his thing. So
Well,
I thought it was really well.
It bookends number 1 really well
Right.
too, because his team gets knocked out in the big opening to number 1, and he only
Right.
has like Luther. That's it. So there's a lot of just him and nobody else kind of thing. So this seems so much more intentional in the fine details the more I think about it.
Oh, I agree 100%. I think I think these movies are really, really, really hard to pull off, and then I think they did a pretty brilliant job like executing them. So I actually really, really appreciate these. Sometimes you'll get criticism about, oh, this is convenient, this is that. I think it's a nod to the creativity of the writer to be able to pull everything together and kind of close all those loops. I think that's really, really hard. I mean, they did that with Spider-Man, and I really liked that Spider-Man film. Like, I know some people kind of, I don't know who didn't like it, but
there's 37 of them. Which one are you
referring?
Yeah,
what is it? What's the last one? No Way Home.
the one with the 3 of them in it.
Yeah. So
dude,
I know
that movie was something special.
Dude, being able to pull all these stories together and actually like have a coherent screenplay where things actually make sense, it is so immensely difficult. So I don't know. I just tip my hat and kind of like this movie did something that I think for me doesn't typically work. Like Gabriel is the villain, but really it's this entity which doesn't really, it's just a idea in the background. And it's like we don't ever get to hear like Thanos say, I'm the only one that knows, or kind of get the insight as to why you want to wipe out all of humanity. But it still was executed well enough to keep you engaged, and you still got just enough information to keep the movie going without like an actual tangible villain. Gabriel is, but normally I would say that's like not the best way to execute a film, but I still thought it was pretty dang well done.
Big shout out to Rob's Fat Sacks of Comics. Dropped in and donated 5 Legion of Comics memberships. Big thank you, Rob. Appreciate you. And for that, you get let's go with Aquaman. I got to cut it off. Warner Brothers does not like me playing that. Yeah, big shout out. What did I think? Can I have my 3 hours back? No. No, you cannot. And also, you're welcome. On
Wait, what's Rob's rating on this? Rob, what do you got on it?
I'm guessing, yeah.
Disney
used
user
up their quota.
coherent screenplay quotas play with that Spidey film. Yeah, that's fair. Yeah, they burned it. Yeah, I think that Spider-Man film exists primarily as an example of how fan service can be done properly. There's nothing wrong with fan service when you're not using it as a safety net, when you're using it as a positive tool. Like, how can we do this, but make it meaningful and not make it feel like a cheap whatever. Like, we're doing this and instead of putting thought into it, which it can go either way. But Spider-Man, they good. 4.5. Oof. Super low out of 10. Yeah. But yeah, so there were some really cool, interesting parts, like talking about how it felt like they were never ahead of the problem for most of them, of how the team felt disjointed. That was one thing that I said that really set this installment apart from the rest. And I think that as a standalone film, as a standalone entry in this franchise, it's definitely not the strongest, but that's not what this film is. This film was written and executed as a finale to an 8-part saga, an 8-part franchise. And in that case, there's different boxes that you typically want to check. You want to nod at this, you want to tie a bow in this, like kind of like how season finales can feel a little lackluster compared to the penultimate episode. Infinity War is objectively a better movie than Endgame, though Endgame has a better moment or two in it that will definitely live on at the highest tier of cinema. But as a whole, Infinity War is a better film. And I feel that way about this. Like, what they executed as a standalone movie was impressive. It was a solid film, but what they executed as a finale to this franchise was peak. Like, I don't know what else you'd really expect. I mean, it's not Return of the King, but nothing is. But I think they did a great job. Sure, big screen fun, but I kept finding myself looking at my watch, which is a bad sign overall. Was it because you had to go potty? Get out of here. No, you're good, Rob. You are good. The plot exists to move Tom from stunt to stunt, but not much more. Yeah, that's okay. And in my opinion, that's okay in a movie called Mission Impossible, because they didn't shy away from meaningful moments when that's nothing new to this brand. That's nothing new to this stuff at all. Like, that's been what this has been since Mission Impossible 3. Like, how can we move to one spectacle to the next and make your heart race while you do it? And they hit some good emotional beats in this. You know, we didn't see Alana, the White Widow, or her brother Sola, who have been kind of big players in the franchise. I was kind of bummed about that. But what we did see is something we haven't seen before. They're in this era of pure chaos. Like, the doomsday clock's at midnight, like, for this whole movie. And Ethan comes in for the first time ever.
Yeah.
You know, the agency or the government or the president, someone's always saying, bro, this is crazy. Come on in. We'll talk about it. We'll figure it out. And he's like, I can't hear you. And he goes off and saves the world. In this one, he legitimately goes in and he's working hand in hand with the president, with the assets of the military and everything. I thought that was wild. And that alone gave me a sense of like something like I was completely unfamiliar with. And it was cool seeing the different interactions from Hannah Waddington's Admiral and how she was interacting with him, knowing she can't ask him questions, knowing she'll never know who he is. And she wasn't telling the viewers that. We know that just from watching it, and just like how they're having to talk cryptic. And same for the Admiral of the submarine, how he only ever called him Mr. and stuff. Like, there were some new type interactions in here we'd never seen before that I was really digging.
Yeah, I was kind of surprised that when the entity controlled half of the nukes in the world, that we were still only at DEFCON 3. I'm like, you guys gotta like take things more seriously.
That's a testament to how much we outnumber them, I guess. Their confidence in their defense game. I don't know.
I think I did like bump on that just a small bit when they said that we had the largest nuclear arsenal. I think Russia actually outnumbers us.
Actually.
Yeah. I was like, no, we're number 2, but it's all right. Movie magic.
I don't think anyone's honest about their reported nuclear arsenal.
Probably not. Yeah.
Probably. That'd be crazy to think they were, wouldn't it? First off, I don't trust the government, and we don't want to start that rabbit hole tonight.
Yeah.
We only got an hour left.
Yeah, we only got an hour. We ain't got time for me to go on one of my tangents about the government.
And another
Where
thing.
was the intrigue, the gadgets, and espionage? This just felt like a generic save the world action film. Yo, that's what set this installment apart. There was no time. Like they were behind the 8 ball with everything that they were doing. We got that high tech prototype, one of a kind dive suit that he operated with. The key itself, Luther designing the 5-dimensional box to hold the entity in, plus the whatever they put into, because they went into the Sevastopol and they needed to get the source code that was on the disc, and
and they needed the poison pill that Luther.
The poison pill. So there was stuff in there, but you don't get like the exploding chewing gum. It was not very James Bondy in that sense. It wasn't as Mission Impossible with that, but. And I even thought it was cool because you got to keep in mind you're asking for gadgets when we've gone pure analog. Like 100% of this movie is done with analog devices and technology. There's nothing high tech that can be used due to the nature of the story itself. So even the warships they were using, the vehicles they were flying in, the Tom Cruise, he put in a literal VHS tape to get his mission assignment. Where in the past we've watched him put a vinyl record down in a random shop in London. It shoots like a face scanner up, and we've seen all these tricky ways where he just puts on a pair of sunglasses that's Wi-Fi'd in that just plays and he throws the glass. No, we don't get none of that. We're back to 1996, which again is kind of genius. We're going back to the beginning. So they were super limited. The ending of the movie kind of made me think there's an open door for Atwell's character to lead the IMF. That's interesting, which is exactly what Kittrick told her when she said, Ethan said I'd be able to make a choice. Interesting.
I'm gonna call it right now. When they reboot this, whoever they rebooted with, they're gonna have a Tom Cruise cameo, and whoever it is, he's gonna pull off the Tom Cruise mask, and it's gonna be the guy underneath who's gonna lead the IMF.
And I'm going to add to your prediction and say whoever they hire to star in it, moving the franchise forward, dies making the first one.
I didn't think he was gonna do everything that Tom Cruise did. Just
yeah.
But Tom Cruise is gonna make a cameo, and he's gonna be whoever it is gonna use his face to.
The dive suit he needed to survive until it got in the way. The dive suit but remember their plan was never his plan. That entire plan that they gave him and the way that he was going to come up surface and recoup and all that was never in the plan. Their plan was for him to survive. His plan from the get-go was, I know I'm going to die, but my team will be there in time to resuscitate me because the temperature of the water will buy me a little bit of time. So the dive suit was needed to survive, and he sacrificed it and willingly died. Full faith in his team to resuscitate him, which they did. Dude died.
I wonder if the captain of the submarine knows that he has a whole nother life on the severed floor.
Oh God, how great was he?
Yeah.
He said, "Mister, if you don't get back up here to our decompression chamber, you will surely die." And he said, with all due respect, your decompression chamber was never a part of my plan. Interesting. He was so good. When Ethan's like, I need you to take me up here in the middle of all those Russian subs patrolling the area. I need you to take me there. If you want me to poke the bear, you've come to the right place, my friend. Like, let's go. They had a couple of raw moments.
The one-liners in this were strong. They were strong. I liked it.
They were. How good was it when he actually got taken to the bunker to all the heads of state, and Kittrich is just talking to him, laying down all the folders, and you don't know what's in them as he's laying them down, and then everyone comes in, and it's his jacket, it's his discovery, it's all of. And they're just looking at it. They're like, the Langley knock list, the explosion at the Kremlin. They're like, it's dawning on them just who exactly this guy is for the first time, and they can't believe it.
Yeah, and to make the guy from the first one, from the Black Vault, be the guy that's run the Sosis outlet.
I was telling Mark the other day, that was literally my favorite scene in the movie, is when he's apologizing to him and then he thanks him, and it's their little back and forth where he says, you know, I would probably still be in that office 30 years from now and I might be happy, but I would never have found the woman that I love more than anything. So I should be thanking you. I was like, oh man, that's what this movie needed. That was my favorite scene in the whole movie. And you see like the knife. Oh man,
Yeah,
so
as you
good.
said, he was handing him back the knife. I'm like,
Yeah, I was like, oh my gosh, that was brilliant writing, brilliant execution, everything that did it for me. I loved it.
Yeah, I mentioned to you, like, I thought it was kind of genius to bring him back of all the characters, because that scene in the first Mission Impossible where he's rappelling down and he can't touch the pressure sensitive floor, that scene's been clipped. I can remember buying DVDs because Mission Impossible came out during the VHS era. So I can remember buying DVDs. And when you put it in, the first thing you'd ever see is a commercial for DVD, the brand. And it would show you clips of movies that, like, if you put in a Paramount movie, there'd be clips of different Paramount movies that are available on DVD. And that scene of him rappelling is always in those. And you always see that guy walk in, and like that moment of realization. So that guy's face has been seen here and there through like little promotional stuff all through the years. So I think that was kind of genius to bring him back of all people. And what did you now? I will think now this was a moment of convenience, but it got an audible hell yeah out of me is when they reveal that old dude is actually Jim Phelps' son.
Yeah, Shea Wiggum.
Because that was one of the biggest slights against the first movie when it came out. Because when the first movie came out, it was a lot closer to the time of the television show, and Jim Phelps was like the dude. He was like the boss man. So them doing that crazy twist and making him the bad guy, that rubbed a lot of people the wrong way. If they would have done that today, you would have had like half of us saying they don't respect the source material. They've crapped on the franchise. I would be up in arms. I would be ranting about it, calling it mission forgettable, all kinds of stuff. But I thought that was great. I thought that was a perfect little nod. And you got that tension moment between the two of them where Ethan's like, it wants us to hate each other. It wants you to stop me. We need to do what it doesn't expect. We need to work together. And he's like, I know everything about IMF. I know your ways and da 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 da. But by the end of it, you get that handshake moment, and you're like,
yeah,
it was dope.
That whole interplay between like when the Secret Service agent tries to assassinate the president, and then everyone's taking shots and everyone's going down, like everyone's questioning. I mean, what I appreciated about that is like we're talking about the end of the world and dropping nukes on U.S. cities as like a way to cover up what our actual intentions are, and no one knows what the right answer is, and it's just a cluster bomb going off in there. I was like, that's what would be going on in this scenario. I love like authenticity and that kind of stuff.
Yeah, that guy's wanting the bombs to go off just like the good dude in the submarine. Those were the acolytes of the entity that were embedded in all levels of government, which I thought Nick Offerman was going to be one when he asked for the sidearm from the guy guarding the door. I'm like, oh.
But he used that. That was how he took out the acolyte, though, right?
Yeah. So earlier in the thing when the cabinet is heavily disagreeing on doing preemptive strike, and they're losing faith in Ethan when the president is not, because she's been rocking with Ethan since like Fallout. She's a returning character. She's just got a higher paying job now. She was the head of CIA. So Alec Baldwin was the head of CIA, and he got upgraded. Well, it quote unquote, some call it a lateral move, some call it a demotion. I do it because I believe in you, Ethan. That was the way that he described moving as head of the CIA to the head of the IMF. But she took over head of the CIA when Alec Baldwin went to IMF. And then the next time we see her, she's president. So she has
that whole scene though, where she's got to make that final decision. Do you launch or what? What do you do? It's like that was. I mean, there have been the earliest I can think of that had a scene something like that had such a tense, suspenseful thing was War Games. And that gave me a War Games feeling, kind of almost. It's like, okay, what, are they going to trust what's going on, or are they going to do what everyone else is, what everyone else in the military industrial complex is telling them to do?
I would have said Dr. Strangelove. Please tell me y'all seen Dr. Strangelove.
Oh, or How I Learned to Love the Bomb. Yeah, exactly.
I think this the last comment though is a fitting one for this movie. Like at moments in this movie, I was like, "Oh my gosh, this is ridiculous!" And then the realization is that it's missions impossible. It's impossible stuff that they're doing. So it's like totally fitting, and I think it just sent it out. I think this is like the absolute perfect way to describe this movie. It's like it fits the description literally. It's perfect.
Yeah, there's a couple moments like when they had the big bomb at the end, and Dudlow was sitting there with his wife, and then the tag along's like, "I'll stay with him." Why? There's nothing for me to do in the vault. But your only job in the vault is to be in the vault. That's literally your only job. It's to not stand by the bomb. Like, that, I'm like, why are you here? Why don't you go? Then I was thinking like maybe he's standing guard for him. Maybe there's other bad guys still around that like they're not sure of. They didn't make that clear. But I love the part where they're like we know that we can, like, you can't stop the bomb, but they can potentially stop it from being such a big blast that everyone dies. But then they're like, wait a minute. How do you know how to do this? I never said I knew how to do this. Fast forward 10 minutes. Wait a minute. I bet if I cut these three at the same time, I can buy us exactly 10 seconds to get to that door so we all don't. I'm like, yes, do it. Like, I wasn't even mad about it. I'm like, that's great. That works out
Don't
perfectly.
cut the red one.
Yeah, I'm glad that's a thing.
I that whole gap in the middle of that, I was speculating how that dude was going to save them so that they could get away and he was going to die. And then they threw in that we cut all three of these, and I was like, oh, he's not going to make it. And then he shows up, like he peeks his head out.
Yeah, they
I was
do.
like, oh,
yeah.
Yeah. I was like, oh, they all made it.
The wife pops up, then the husband pops up, and Kyle, my wife, sitting there. She goes, "Where is he? Where is he?" And he pops up. She goes, "Thank God." And this is a character that we haven't like been invested in. It's just this movie, and you still are like, oh, you know, like you don't want to see him go.
It was the same thing with Simon Pegg's character. You don't really know if he made it or not, you know. And then when they go to his thing, he comes out from behind like this statue, and it's like you don't really know up until that point. You don't know whether or not he actually made it or not.
Yes, Louis. We were just talking about that a few minutes ago. Some of the convenient aspects of it, but they're in movie explained, like why are these bad guys popping up? Well, they said at the very beginning that the entity has acolytes that just crazy. Like realistically, you're gonna have people on all sides of any topic, and in this one, you have people that want to see the world burn, and they said that they are in all levels of government. So there was one on the submarine, there was one in the situation room, but that your decompression chamber is never part of the plan came up when we were talking about the high-tech scuba suit that you needed it until you didn't need it, which in this case, he didn't need it.
I also love the fact that,
but in the grand scheme of things, he never planned on being alive when he got out of that water.
Even when they put Tom Cruise in a place where he can't run on a submarine, he's running.
He did it, didn't he? Yeah, let's talk about that whole sequence, like that entire sequence. He has to go down under the they're in the Arctic, right?
Yeah, ice shelf.
Yeah.
They're in the Arctic under some ice where the Sevastopol sank in the beginning of Dead Reckoning, which they timestamped it at 2012, right? That's when it.
Right. Yep.
So it's been under there for a little while, and he has to go down, get on board, and use the crucifix key that they got in the last film in order to open the sonar system that has the source code for the entity in it. And the Cordova is the name of the little device that has the source code on it. So they're after that, and he goes solo. It was an insane sequence. Like if you check any social media stuff, people are talking about two things, and one's the plane sequence, which we're definitely going to get to, and the other one is a submarine sequence. What did you guys think of that whole thing? Because I tell you what, I'll start us off here, because the moment that he's getting ready to go out, he suits up. They're on a submarine that's being followed by a Russian submarine, and he's going to just step off. They're going to slow down in a turn right over the drop point, and he's going to jump off so the Russians aren't able to find where the target is, because they're trying to get there too. And he opens this big hatch door. You know, he fills the room up with water, opens this big hatch door, and I'm sitting in this IMAX looking up, and you see this door open, and there's a freaking submarine just right there on their tail. And that actually got me. I'm like, oh shit. Like, it legit got me. Like, that was insane visual.
The underwater and the plane scenes, both of them were tailor-made for IMAX.
Dude, at the beginning of the movie, first off, I've already said that I'm a Tom Cruise homer, but when he thanks everyone for being there and he's like, you're in the right place because you should be watching this on the biggest screen possible. Dude, he nailed it. So yeah, when that door opens, At first, I thought it was the Sebastopol or whatever. I thought it was the sub, and then I realized it was just bearing down on them. And I was like, oh shit, how's he going to survive this? And even he like looked around because he's like, I can't jump out right now. I'm going to get chopped to bits. And then he had to avoid it. Oh man, that was awesome.
It was intense. He had to dodge 2 sets of propellers.
Right. Yeah.
And he got like he didn't clear the sub. He was trying like hell to clear it. And he still got clipped. The dude got hit by a submarine.
Dude, he got literally hit on the chin by a nuclear submarine. Just shook it off. It's like, I was glad that he was limping like crazy at the end of the movie. I will say that, because I was like, this dude got rocked like about 100 times, and he's still going.
Yeah, going into the final act, he was not 100%, as he normally isn't in these films. But this is where we get to the descent down to the Sebastopol, which I think is the scene that you were probably referring to when you said it was like a nod to the abyss.
Yeah, oh, totally, dude. Well, I think like there's 2 sequences here that we're talking about, but dude, it had some Top Gun in there. Like when we were seeing like the planes taking off on the catapults, I was like, oh hell yeah. And then it was,
landing on the aircraft carrier and stuff.
Landing on the aircraft carrier, I was like, okay. And then it was even right before that when he, after that when he has to jump off what are those called? It was the Osprey. Thank you, the Osprey, and he just like looks. And remember, if you've seen Hunt for Red October, he's literally there on a helicopter, and they're like, if they don't get the message to the sub, like we're bingo. And he yells at him in that movie. He says, in times of war, you have 10 minutes of extra fuel that you can tap into, right? And they go, yeah, but we're not in war. And he goes, if I don't get on that sub, we'll be at war. Stay in that. So they hover around. In this movie, they just took out that line of dialogue, and they're like, we're bingo, we got to go. And he just turned around, and it's like, what's your plan? And he just jumps off. And even the captain.
Answer him.
Yeah. And then they get on the sub, and we see like kind of even the SEALs that grab him or whatever. It's like, who's the acolyte here? You get that little mystery, and then they're like, we're going to throw you in this abyss. And if you guys have seen the abyss, it's like I was waiting for it to fill up with this like pink fluid, but it didn't have. Oh wait, yeah. So, but yeah, they give him some like juiced up air. I talked to Mark about the treadmill in the underwear running, which I was like, all right, sounds good. Let's get him some gratuitous shirtless stuff. I like it.
At his age, in that condition,
dude,
why wouldn't you? I recommend it.
That's what I was saying. Even when in a space where he can't run, they made him run on the treadmill.
Oh yeah. Okay, got it. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And it's like, how do we do it better? Like, we'll put a mask on him and just have him just straight in boxer briefs.
Yeah, for those don't know what we're talking about. He was prepping for this this dive. We've done halo jump, so we have to do the opposite. We have to go super deep underwater, and it's like peak diving depths. So he's on the treadmill running with the oxygen masks on, oxygenating his body fully, and yeah, he's wearing what he's going to be wearing right before he puts on the scuba gear. So it's just like a pair of Spanx.
Yeah,
short shorts. Yeah, short shorts. And he gets into a whole fight during this scene, which the fight choreography in that scene was amazing, because his team is battling it out at the sonar station, and he's battling it out here in the sub. And like the editing between these 2 fight scenes was just magnificent. There'll be times when he catches an arm and flips a guy, and when the guy comes to land, it's cuts in mid flip, and the other location is landing in the fight, and it was just kind of going blow for blow. It was really cool. I'm wearing an oxygen mask while running on a treadmill while watching the show right now. Good thing it wasn't Chuck Norris. He would have lost.
All right. Well, you're not aggressively relaxing then, because you are doing some work.
Yeah. But the old when he leaves the sub and heads down to the Sebastopol, it goes quiet. We go silent for like the next 10-15 minutes of the movie. And I know people have mentioned this, but it's one of those things. It was one of those things that you don't notice till you notice. You know, you just kind of built a lot of suspense. He has to go through this entire sub that him entering the sub causes like the places that didn't have water in it to gain water in it, throwing off the entire weight of what was sitting there, and it starts moving. So the sub is actively kind of rolling down the shelf that it's on, heading toward a drop off. So he's on borrowed time, and he has to go through the torpedo room where torpedoes, which are not small at all, they're massive, which are falling off, and he's having to dodge them and getting trapped under them, and they're shutting off his exit and everything. He ultimately gets to Cordova, and he's not able to get out the way he came in. he has to cut the suit off of himself so that he can take his oxygen tank and put it in front of him to escape out of a torpedo hatch. And then he had to just all he had to do was just get to the top, get to the surface. And of course that couldn't go smoothly because while he's going out the torpedo tube, the sub drops off the shelf, falling into the depths. And he gets out as it's falling, and as he's trying to go up, there's a giant sub right up against you. So his oxygen tank gets hung up and he has to leave it behind. So now at this point, he's getting the bends. You see his muscles contracting. He's not even able to swim. And the dude literally dies. He dies and his body just floats up. But he is wearing a very specific tracker so that his team can find him on the ice. And they were where they were supposed to be and to retrieve his corpse like planned.
Wasn't
They,
that only
they
supposed
even
to
set
get
it
them
up with a
within
line of
2 miles,
dialogue.
though? Wasn't that only supposed to get them within 2 miles, though? The tracker that he had, I thought that was only good to like within 2 miles.
Yeah, but they
Come
knew
on.
where the Sevastopol was.
Okay.
The tracker, if you're within 2 miles of the tracker, you can locate him. You have to be within 2 miles. But because of what they did, they got the exact coordinates from Dudlow, who recorded the exact coordinates back when it first happened in 2012. So they had the exact coordinates. And then once
I thought that meant when this the 2 miles. I see what you're saying now. I thought that said that would give them basically that would give him like a 2 mile range. He could be anywhere within that 2 miles.
Oh, when you weren't, no, I think they had to be within 2 miles of him to get his location. Is what
that makes a lot more sense.
Yeah, sure shit does. Can you
Yeah,
imagine?
because I'm like,
that'd have been funny if when he woke up, you look, there's like 57 different cuts
exact
in the
holes.
ice where they just kept looking.
And I will say to the credit of the movie, they set it up. They literally said like, you're gonna die, but the cold water will keep you, like, we'll be able to revive you because you'll be frozen.
Yeah,
literally
that'll make you last a little bit longer. The gas mixture did have some stuff that helped with the bends. It didn't stop him from getting them, but it made it less. And that's because there's an entity and he makes this. Yeah, he passed out in the water also in Rogue Nation. Yeah, when they were trying to switch off the security stuff so Simon Pegg didn't get murdered walking through the facility in that one. That's when my second all-time favorite character in all of this franchise, Elsa Faust, came and saved him in that epic moment, just out of nowhere, just swoop and grabbed his limp body, wrapped him up, and got him out of there. That was, man, that was such a great character. Watching her die in Dead Reckoning was heartbreaking. Rebecca Ferguson, man. It was the Mission Impossible movies that made me fall in love with that girl. That, then The Greatest Showman, and like that's what made me like so excited to watch Silo. She's just one of those mesmerizing actresses. Look at her in Dune. Like she's just, I don't know. She's got those eyes. Just like she don't look as crazy as that. Shout out to Cold Water. It saved Steve Rogers too. There you go. Yeah, he lasted for 7 decades.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there's some cool stuff in there. So they get out. They've got what they needed. This whole time, Gabriel has had the poison pill that Luther made. That now they got the source code. They need to get the poison pill. They know where Gabriel is. They all are kind of everyone's goals in this take them in the same direction, which I thought was smart writing as well. Everyone wants to be in the same place, but you have different reasons for want to be there. IMF want to shut down the entity. The U.S. government wants them there so they can take control of the entity. Gabriel wants it for his own ends, for like world domination at this point. He's kind of gone Fruit Loops, right? Like he was methodical, cold, calculated when he was just doing the bidding of someone else's thinking. But in this one, he's just like, I mean, he's definitely a man of means, but he's a little bit James Bond villainish, even so far as kind of like laughing his like ha 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 as like they're doing the plane chase and everything. But it was cool to see him in there. I think that they kind of one-lined that as well in the beginning when the crate that the entity communicated with Gabriel in, when Tom Cruise was about to get in it. Mm-hmm. Palm, what's her name in this, Paris? She told him, "Don't do it. Anyone who gets in it never comes out the same." And Gabriel's been just destroying his brain in there. God only knows how many times. Why was Elsa and White Widow never mentioned in Final Reckoning? I mentioned that at the beginning that Alana and Solo were never mentioned, and they were big players in the last two. But I guess events in this just really don't call for the black market brokering. It would have kind of, I mean, they could have easily found a way to put him in there, but ultimately could have felt forced. They were never needed, but I would have loved to see him in there as it being the grand finale. And Elsa, man, I don't know. I think you always get kind of like a little, I can't remember if it was this one or the last one when they were talking to Grace about like all the people in Tom, all the girls in Tom's life always end up the same way. Can't remember if that was this one or the last one. I think it was the last one. Gabriel was starting to go comic book cartoon villain there in the end, and I was like, he is hinting at being the MCU at some point. Yeah. But yeah, so they get the Cordova, they go to get the poison pill, and ultimately it ends in Gabriel running, taking off. Because of the bomb that he brought to the vault, he brought planes to get out of there. That's how we got the 2 planes. And him and his little minion, one of the guys working with him, take off in the plane. Tom running there, misses the first plane, jumps on the second plane. And then, honest to God, legitimately the craziest thing I've ever seen in any movie ever, period, takes place for the next, 20 minutes?
Yeah.
It's a long sequence. Yeah.
It is.
We did. Yeah, I saw that earlier.
He didn't really jump on the plane, by the way. He snagged a bar and he nearly got run over.
Yeah, it was he almost got killed. Like, he missed the first plane and turned around and looked, and he had to just fall down, and he just grabbed and got drugged and then up into the air. And I don't even know where to go from this. First off, just the takeoff sequence before he's even commandeered one of these things, he's just holding on to the landing gears of it. They're flying in a canyon from watching some of the behind the scenes stuff between 5 and 10 feet above the floor. And this isn't a wide canyon. This is it's not even a respectable size river. It's a river, but I mean, you can call it like an impressive creek in a ditch if you wanted to, but they're low, which that alone, I'm just like, God, what are they doing? And he climbs up, he fist fights the dude flying it. Well, he ultimately just knocks him out, unbuckles him, and jumps in the front seat and pulls a little barrel roll and drops the guy out. And
then he has to do a backflip to get back into his seat so he can actually throttle the plane up and down.
Yeah, so before he even gets truly comfortable in this plane, he's already hung on to the bottom of it just from the landing gear bar. He's hung onto a wing by one hand, hanging off the plane. And now he has to get to Gabriel, who's in the secondary plane. Now, we saw Fallout that ended in a helicopter chase where he didn't have a plan. He just jumped up and grabbed onto the cargo that one was carrying, climbed up it, commandeered it, and had to get in the other one, ultimately just crashing into him. And now we're in planes, needing to get into the other one. And Gabriel's a psychopath. He's going and he's ramming Tom Cruise, and he pulls up behind him and actually messes up the back rudder of it. So he's on borrowed time. Ethan takes advantage of the clouds, and he's able to kind of lose him a little bit and come up under his plane. And this is where he does what I told y'all he was going to do 6 freaking months ago. And Tom Cruise, this absolute psychopath, goes from one airplane to another airplane in the air. He crawls out of one airplane. Well, he's flying it, mind you. While flying it, going up, then stands up and uses his foot to tap it to keep it going, reaches up, grabs another one, and changes airplanes, which is madness. That was crazy. Blew my mind. I expected it was coming. The Snoopy planes, exactly. I expected it was coming because I remember the first little teaser they gave us. I caught it the first time I watched it. I told Paul, I think I messaged you as soon as I watched. Did you see the trailer? I'll watch it. Oh, that was crazy. Yeah, but did you see the trailer? He jumped on the red plane in the beginning. At the end of the trailer, he was on a yellow plane. This crazy son of a bitch is going to change planes in midair, and he did.
Called it. You called it. Yep. I remember you saying it.
But that wasn't even the craziest thing in my mind. It was because he was on the yellow plane with Gabriel trying to shake him off, and he's doing all these crazy stunts, because he's emulating being thrown around, and they're doing corkscrews, backflips. You're having zero grav moments where he's looking up and just pushing off stuff and manipulate. It was it was crazy. But the biggest thing for me was when he was far out on the wing and he's holding on to one of the like, I don't even know what they're called, the bars that go between the wings, and he wraps his leg around it and they hit the backflip and he just lays back like he's on a pair of monkey bars hanging by his legs with his arms up and his whole body off the plane, just holding on by his crossed legs with it doing like a backflip. And it did that. The camera backed off from it. You got like the sense of how long he was doing it. And like, I was truly amazed at what I was seeing.
Guy's
It
a
was.
madman.
Exactly. He was. How devastating though was Gabriel's death.
It was
Like,
hilarious.
man, it was. Yeah. But it was brutal.
I did not think he was going out that way, but
Yeah, if you blink, you'll miss it.
Yeah. Took a groin shot to a face shot to that's it.
Yeah, and it was funny because he did it to himself. At this point, the little scuffle, they're both hanging out of the plane with it upside down, and Gabriel finally just laughs. Ha! After he broke his arm, which was just that was brutal, dude. Brutal. Dude. Like he snapped it out of nowhere too. Like he went for it and he got it and it was gone. Like just arm just. But he tells Ethan, "Bye, Ethan. I'm the only one with a parachute," and just willingly lets go. And then gets caught by the tail of the plane. Crotch face, just boom, dead. It was hilarious.
Crotch face dead.
I was hoping, like, I don't know what I was hoping. I think that I was expecting Paris to have a moment or a more personal moment with him because the dude's a big fan of knives, you know, and knives is such a personal way to go kind of thing. But I don't know. It was wild. He was gone fast. He was going fast. And then we get that great sequence where he's got to get the back control of the plane, get the other parachute on, and the plane lights on fire. Because like you pointed out to me, how did you describe it with the whole sequencing of we solved this problem, now there's another problem? Or
me when we were talking about it? Yeah, it's called like objective versus obstacle, and like in terms of like constructing a screenplay, and it's like whatever your objective is, like what's the obstacle that comes in front of you and then derails your plan. So it's like, all right, he's gonna land the plane. It's like, nope, it's gonna light on fire. It's like, oh shit, I gotta get this parachute on so I can jump out of the plane. Okay, you're gonna jump out. Well, your parachute's gonna light on fire. It's like you saw it in the subsequence too. It's like any moment, like something like a torpedo is gonna fall on him, or like, okay, I see my way out of here, but I can't fit in the torpedo tube because my tank is too big, so I gotta take it off. I gotta cut it off. And it's like, okay, now I gotta now it's caught, so now I gotta literally manually cut it off me and swim up without it. So it's in terms of actual screenwriting, it's just like objective versus obstacle. It's like whatever your objective is, the obstacles that you have to overcome to achieve it should be as difficult and as dynamic as possible. And that's when like you can really elevate like the stakes. And I mean, you show also how like savvy, how intelligent, how exciting your characters are by having to be smart enough to overcome those things as they're presented in real time in front of them, instead of having an established plan and just everything going according to plan.
That was like that's how you could sum up almost this entire movie is objective.
100%. Yeah. Objective versus obstacle. It's like, we got a plan. Okay. It's going to kind of start that way. And then every single thing is going to go wrong and you're going to have to figure it out as you go. Now, it's like, we'll fly you out there, but they're not there. Jump in the water.
Christopher McQuarrie, the director of the movie, put out they're putting out all kinds of great promotional stuff. And a lot of the promo stuff for this just involves like talking about the filming of it and the making of it, because that's truly what's so just amazing about this franchise, where it's just an anomaly compared to anything else. But he was talking about the plane sequence itself when Ethan is on the red plane and the wing is coming apart and it's shaking because Gabriel had messed it up. That moment when Tom looks over at it and it cuts to it and it's shaking, he pointed out that Tom is in this plane flying it by himself, and there's cameras mounted on it. So not only is Tom acting, Tom is playing director in that moment because he's backlighting that shot. If you go back and look at it, you'll notice that the sunset is at a very specific place for the dynamic purpose of backlighting it. And then when it pans back to Tom, you have to keep in mind, he's flying the plane with one hand and he's working the cameras with the hand you cannot see. I'm like, that's fucking crazy. So this guy's flying a plane that's not probably functioning properly after what they've been doing in them, and he's operating cameras while acting and framing shots meaningfully. Like that's crazy.
That's Tom Cruise.
Yeah, thank you. That's I said it at the jump. I was like, this dude, he does, in my opinion, he does like. I'll go see whatever he makes. Let's just put it that way. I respect the guy so much. He's awesome.
And that's some of the most enjoyable parts of these movies, because the more that you learn about them, like if you go buy physical media, people buy the movies when they come out, get the special features. They are worth it. Like all the way back to Mission Impossible Fallout, number 6, when him and Henry Cavill do the Halo jump, the high altitude, low oxygen jump. Tom Cruise really did the Halo jump. Even Paris, the actress Palm plays Mantis, and the Tom has officially, y'all saw the what was it? Jimmy Fallon show. She was on there talking about how Tom gifted her for the wrap-up gift that he gave her, the fully paid to have her become an A certified, A licensed skydiver, and went with her and did high altitude jumps, all kinds of stuff with her. But he really did that high altitude jump for Fallout, and Henry Cavill wanted to do it too, and Tom turned him down and said, because of the filming aspect, we got to do it all, and he's going to be jumping with a cameraman, and he's got the exact shots that they need in mind, and this and that. And it's just like the fact that he's able to be doing these insane things while meaningfully thinking about 50 different things at once, kind of just, that's what really separates him from like an average stuntman can do the stuff that he's doing. That's what they do for a living, but it's not a normal for somebody in his position to do it, because insurance won't allow it, for one, but to be actively, meaningfully, and purposefully in certain poses and certain places, cognizant of the camera, right? Like that's, to me, it's hard to even process that.
The dude's a legend.
Yeah.
Like what was it? It was in part 1 where he does the motorcycle jump, right? Did you see the behind the scenes on that? They do it one time. They're like, "Oh, we got it." He's like, "Nah, we're gonna do it like 10 more times." So they just keep dumping these motorcycles, and then at the end of the whole thing, they're like, "No, it was the first take. We got it on the first take." He's like, "All right, well, at least we did it like 20 times." It's like, this dude's...
You know, in Rogue Nation, where the big opening is where he's on the outside of the plane holding on to the fuselage when it takes off. He said they were talking about that, how he wanted to do it one time, and he's like talked about how he wanted to keep his feet there and stand there, but you can see in it when it actually lifts off and he feels the force, you can tell he's not able to keep his feet there, and he's just hanging. And when it comes and it lands, everyone was anxious and worried and ready to get him off there and talk to him and check on him. And he looks up at the cameras and says, "Again, go." And they didn't even stop the plane. They just went, they gave him the signal. They did it again 8 times. The very first time he did it 8 times.
Madman. And what was it with the Burj Khalifa, right? They weren't even going to let him go out. And he's like, "No, I'm doing this."
Yeah, I'm doing this.
All right. There's even you guys know the story on Collateral? If you guys have seen Collateral, the taxi movie,
Michael Mann movie, it's a great
movie. So they were going to shoot that in Canada, and Tom Cruise wasn't attached to the film at that time. It was just Jamie Foxx, and then somehow, I don't know the exact details of how it got to Tom Cruise, but then he got the script. He's like, "No, I'm going to play this role," and he was talking to Jamie Foxx about it. And Jamie Foxx is like, "Okay, awesome. Like, we're going to shoot this in Canada." He's like, "No, we're not." And he just called the mayor of LA, and he's like, "Yeah, we're going to shoot this in LA." And the mayor was like, "Okay." They closed down the 405, closed down the Staples Center. They're like, "Yeah, you do whatever you want, Mr. Cruz. Like, just shut down all of LA so you can make a movie. No big deal."
It was a great movie.
Oh, I love that. That movie is phenomenal. We could do like a movie night on that for sure.
What is it? The double tap. Pow, pow, pow.
Dude, he is... This is where Tom Cruise doesn't get credit, man. That guy can play any role. He is a ruthless villain in that movie, and he is ice cold in the jazz scene when he's talking to the dude. And he doesn't realize it until he's like, "I'm here to kill you." Dude, let's stay on Mission Impossible, because I will go off on that movie. That movie's awesome.
I think we're about tapped on Mission Impossible. We can just kind of take it. I mean, we've talked about Tom Cruise at this point. I do.
Well, how about this? How about, where do we put this in the 8? Like, or where's your number 1?
Where did I put this at? I had a thing in here. I wanted to show this because I thought it was interesting. Oh, come on. Don't do me like that. Where is this? Give me this. Give me this. So this is where the critics rank the franchise. This is the critic. I think that Fallout is objectively the best. I completely agree. They have Dead Reckoning as number 2. Rogue Nation is number 3.
Mission
Ghost Protocol
Impossible
is number
7.
4. What is it? They've
Mission
got
Impossible is 7. No.
Final Reckoning is number 5. MI3 is number 6. Mission Impossible is number 7. And Mission Impossible 2 is number 8. Now, I recorded yesterday. I recorded a video ranking all the Mission Impossible movies. It comes out tomorrow. We got 8 people watching. I don't care about blowing it up ahead of time. Oh, I think I might have deleted my ranking. I got the movie poster in here. It looks like I must have deleted the rankings. Did I? Do I still have them in here? Let's see. Documents. Yeah, I deleted my ranking. So for context, this right here is literally my ranking score. You would just, if you take Dead Reckoning and put it in the number 4 spot, if you put it in number 4, you literally have my ranking. That's all you have to do is switch Ghost Protocol and Dead Reckoning, and it's the exact same as mine.
All right.
I know that it's tough when they're all so good. How do they stack up for you?
I would say that this movie is probably in the right spot for me, like in the middle. It's like ranking the Deadpool movies. Like if you ask me what the best story is or the best movie, I know people will probably disagree with me with this, but I would actually go 2, 1, 3. But if you
slow down. I have to process it when someone says 2. All right, go ahead.
Deadpool 2, Deadpool 1.
Oh, I thought we were talking about Mission Impossible 2. I'm sorry.
No. I said it's like that. So I was trying to give an analogy, like the fun factor of this, the last movie, and like wrapping it up, it moves it way up. But if you're just looking at it as a movie, I would say it's kind of mid-pack. And that was the analogy for like Deadpool 3. Like I think Deadpool 3, if you like say fun factor, it might be number 1 in that list. But I put the first Mission Impossible higher than that. I don't think it's 7. I like the first movie. I think it's set up the franchise. I think it did really well. I like the first Mission Impossible. I put that way higher.
Oh, that's fair.
And I think I would have Fallout number 1 as well. But then I think I would have Final Reckoning number 2 because I'm a sucker for these people who take like 8 movies and make them all make sense and relate to each other. And if they don't make sense, then that doesn't work for me. But I'm a sucker for when they can do that. That totally moves movies up the slots for me.
Yeah, I think I found
it's legit.
it. I just went and pulled a screen grab out of it. Yeah, there's the ranking I had. So it's almost spot on to what they had. 2, I think, is 2 last on everyone's list, other than J-Man, my buddy J-Man. He's got it at number 1 on his list. But I think they still use lead-based paint where he lives, so I don't hold it against him. Everyone is a critic. Gabriel's death had people laughing, yeah. But yeah, dude, this is one of those things that's kind of like ranking Ghost Machine comics. I mean, that very apt with Jeff Johns. They're all so freaking enjoyable. I think the franchise really finds its legs with number 4, with Ghost Protocol. All the foundational elements of what makes this franchise, what you would describe it to someone, happen in J.J. Abrams' number 3. And then they take those elements that worked so well and they just ride them out from there on. And it just elevates, and you just kind of you fall more in love with the franchise and the characters, and you get to know them more, their purpose more. And I absolutely love the contrast in this one, because they've leaned into it in the last handful of them with Ethan's real desire and love of his team, and it was ultimately him not being able to settle down with a wife that drove him to take that compassion, that drive, that care, and put it even more heavily into his team and his friends. But it's that concept that he's not willing to sacrifice one life to save millions. But then again, you have this whole movie, these people are tackling how many are we going to kill to save millions? It wasn't even one. They're about to kill millions to save other millions. But like, it's just the contrast was just so well done. It was just, I don't know, man.
We were talking about Tom Cruise and all the stunts he does and everything, and every stunt is incredible and everything. But I think it's kind of ironic that what I think just many people watching probably the one that he hurt himself on is probably the least technical of all of the ones that he's done.
The jump and
Jumping
fall
from
out.
one building to the next. You know.
Yeah, that was he was trying to chase down Henry Cavill, and he legitimately
Yeah.
jumped from one building to another, but he decided he didn't want to clear the building. He wanted to do one of those
Yeah.
close call jumps where you jump and you just catch
Right.
it with your arms, but he had his foot out. You know, your feet catch the building too, and it turned his foot up too much. So he broke
Right.
his ankle when he landed, but he still pulled himself up and limped
Yeah.
right past the camera guy saying, "Did you get the
Mm.
shot?"
Right. Oh yeah, absolutely. But I think it's ironic that that's what he hurt himself when he's hanging off of planes and you know.
Yeah. You know, he in Rogue Nation, he broke the record for holding his breath underwater for over 6 minutes to film that scene. And that
Really?
record was held for a while until Kate Winslet took that record from him while filming Avatar: The Way of Water.
Oh.
Wow. I did not know that. That's nuts.
On both their accounts. Like, it's crazy.
Yeah.
That explains
Madman.
why she didn't die at the end of Titanic also.
Exactly. That's why Jack
That
was
was a
going
prep.
to the bottom.
That was a
Yeah.
prep.
Being a Tom Cruise guy, I got to ask, because one of my all-time favorite Tom Cruise movies, hands down, is Oblivion.
Oh, heck yeah.
Just amazing movie.
Dude, Tom Cruise, like we should really pull up his list if we're going to actually try to figure out what his best movie is. The guy's, everything is good. I mean,
My favorite Tom Cruise movie has always been Risky Business.
I was going to say, you got to go.
You doing the slide, Paul.
Yeah,
I was going to say, you got to go back. Like Rain Man is unbelievable. Risky Business.
Yeah.
I mean, even like Cocktail's good.
Cocktails.
A Few Good Men. Come on now.
Oh, A Few Good Men
Like,
is incredible. That would be up there too.
what are we talking about here? I mean, that's like that. You know, that's one of the most
Y'all
iconic
said
films.
Vanilla Sky yet?
We haven't gotten to Eyes Wide Shut and Vanilla Sky. Yeah, we'll get
Eyes
to
Wide
that.
Shut was his last movie, not Tom Cruise, but Kubrick's last film.
Kubrick, yeah. So
There's
Collateral.
there's some great conspiracy stories surrounding that one as well.
Yeah.
I
gotta say,
have y'all heard the conspiracy urban legends surrounding that one, that people in the industry felt that he was trying to out the industry and got rid of him for it?
No
I
comment.
love the remake of War of the Worlds.
War of the Worlds.
Dude, that
What was the
man,
one? I
when
can't think of the title now where he was in Japan or China, whatever. Right? What was that one? Can't think of it now.
Mission Impossible 3.
Yeah, exactly.
I think Collateral is like an all-time sleeper. Like, I don't think enough people have seen that movie. That movie is incredible. That movie is awesome.
Like when the coyote comes walking out in the middle of the street. I'm like, where did that come
So
from?
it did
Y'all got
$63
coyote?
million this weekend.
Mission
It's
Impossible.
$63 million this weekend.
Domestically,
Domestic
it's over 200 worldwide already, and Lilo and Stitch is over 300 worldwide already.
Dude,
Yeah,
Lilo and
341.
Stitch. I
Lilo and
checked the
Stitch
theater,
did
like,
45 million.
What?
Lilo and Stitch did 145 million domestically.
No, I'm not surprised. Do you have the box office numbers for the weekend so far? This is Memorial Day weekend, so they're going to have a pretty extended
It's going to be
run.
a 4-day weekend, yeah. So, so we have for the weekend we have Lilo and Stitch at 145, Mission Impossible 63, Final Destination Bloodlines 19.7.
Do you have their worldwide box yet?
Yep. Hold on a second. Lilo and Stitch is 341. Mission Impossible is 204. Final Destination is 187.
So
Thunderbolts 355.
This Mission Impossible movie also holds another record for being in the top 5 most expensive films ever made.
Yeah, like $400 million is my man.
$400 million budget.
that's ridiculous.
You know what's so funny about that though? When I hear the budget for most of the MCU stuff, I say it's ridiculous and point out that I think they're laundering money through a lot of these movies. When I read and see that this movie cost $400 million to make, I think to myself, I saw every single penny of it on screen.
Yeah.
I don't feel like it doesn't, like, that's a high number, but when you see this movie, you're like, that makes sense. I mean, for the last one, that train that they drove off the cliff, Christopher McCorrell was talking about like, we tried to get a train, like an old decommissioned train to soup up retro. They couldn't get one. Trains don't just lay around like how you have airplane graveyards and car junkyard. You don't have that for trains. They had to build that train, whole train.
Dude, I was literally just about to say Last Samurai, and it showed up.
That's
in the
the one I was
chat.
talking about. That's the one I was trying to think of.
Yeah.
I was like, how did we forget that, dude? The list is absolute madness for Cruise. I just pulled it up.
Whenever I think of The Last Samurai, I think of the Chappelle Show when they were clowning on that. The Last Samurai, starring Tom Cruise.
Dude, Valkyrie, Night and Day.
Night and Day. All right, so look. I referenced Night and Day during the opening of Final Reckoning when him and Grace were tied up and they're about to get tortured, and he's like, just remember, it's only pain. And they're fighting, and he like, they get out, they start fighting, and he grabs Grace. He goes, "Hey, you're doing good. You're doing good." I just started laughing. I'm like, dude, that's what he kept telling June in Night and Day. Like he would like dose her, so she would pass out, and she'd start to wake up, and they would be falling out of a burning airplane, and she'd barely be seeing what's going on. He's like, "You okay? You're doing good. You're doing good." And she'd pass back out. She'd open her eyes, and he'd be hanging upside down where he's kidnapped, swinging from a rope. "Hey, June, I'm going to have us out of here in just a minute. You're doing good." I'm like, dude, that was hilarious. But
that movie is
so good, dude.
Yeah. Dude, Tom Cruise is...
I'm the guy.
I'm the guy. He's hilarious, dude. Right before that, Tropic Thunder. Come on now. Mummy, American Made. Dude, Top Gun Maverick, of course.
Dude, I'm an all-time defender of this movie.
What's the one with Cuba Gooding? Show me the money.
Oh, Jerry
Maguire.
Jerry Maguire, yeah.
Is there a filmography that's better than Tom Cruise? I mean, I don't know. Definitely going up against anybody.
I think Johnny Depp would have an impressive one, but he's got some like just kind of like mid cards on there, like Secret Door and what was it, like Stigmata? Not Stigmata.
Dude, we haven't mentioned Minority Report. Come on.
Oh yeah.
Interview with a Vampire, The Firm, Far and Away, Days of Thunder, Young Guns. Dude.
Yeah, he definitely takes the cake. And kudos to him for like reinventing himself so much too, because he went through that era where, and people still bring it up, he went through that era where it was just kind of weird. Like everyone was kind of clowning on him because like him joining the Scientology thing, and then him being outspoken in that Matt Lauer interview about all the chemical children and stuff. Which shocker, look how that held up. Yeah, maybe they shouldn't have called him crazy so soon, but he completely he just stayed out of the tabloids, kind of beyond that, and now he's like revered as the GOAT, like across the board. Like I love like just kind of seeing like the general consensus on things the best you can, which is like social media comment sections. Like, what are strangers saying to the void? Like people that have no repercussions for what they say. What are they saying about it? And everyone's like pretty unanimous. Like the GOAT. This dude's amazing. Yeah, I can't believe what I've seen. Like, it's just, I think he's earned every bit of it. And I still love picking on people pointing out that Tom Cruise, the Scientologist, in 2025 is the most normal person in Hollywood. So what does that say?
What makes him
heroes?
You know what makes him normal? Is he just makes movies. Like, he's not lecturing you about anything. And I love that, dude. Like, the only thing he does is thank you for coming to see his stuff. I'm like, dude, you are the man. Like, that just full stop. Thank you. You're like, that's what you should be doing as a man.
Yeah, I
thank
can't
you.
remember what interviewer it was. Someone asked him something that was clearly like a fishing question, and he goes, "I have no interest in answering that. I appreciate the question, though." He was completely respectful. He's like, "That's not what I'm here to do." Walter Goggins is the best actor of our time. Yeah, I love Walter Goggins. Absolutely love him. I'm still working my way through The Shield. I did 3 seasons. Now I'm kind of on a pause because you can't just burn out like on 8 seasons of a show. You kind of starts to become a chore, but first 3 seasons are solid. Well, Shane. Yeah, good stuff. Guys, I think we're going to wrap it up about right there, though. We'll get to some other stuff. Definitely enjoy your time with your families tomorrow. I appreciate you hopping on. And again, remind the 10 people watching, if you haven't done it already, go check out the video that I have posted on the channel. It looks like this. It says giveaway entry on the thumbnail too. Bunch of prizes for Epic Summer giveaway. You've got till the end of this month to join the Legion tier to get extra access to prizes. But all you have to do is instructions in the video, comment on the video. There'll be live chat giveaways. Any and everybody can enter this giveaway. Tons of prizes, stuff for everybody. But yeah, appreciate you guys. And appreciate everybody in the chat. Paul, what do we got going on this week?
Just tomorrow morning, we have the DC Comics Deep Dive on Absolute Vice number 3 and Batman Superman World's Finest number 39, part 4 of We Are Yesterday.
Yeah.
No Guess That Key this week. Next week.
I'm going to be there for that one. Oh, I still feel bad about that.
Oops. It was still actually a really good episode with just the 3. It was solid. It's good.
I'll remember.
We got a first time next week.
Who is it?
T-Dubs. Taylor Winder will be on.
Taylor hasn't been on there before?
Nope. And Dale of Suspense will be on.
That seems weird that Taylor's never been on that before.
He's been scheduled at least once. He's been asked a couple of times, but he had something going on, and then he had the whole thing with his dad and everything, so he wasn't able to make it. And
yeah, I'm excited for Superman, and that big giveaway is definitely tailored toward July, which is the biggest movie release month I think of my entire life. Jurassic World Rebirth, Superman, and Fantastic Four all dropped the same month. So the prizes, you can watch the video, it shows all the prizes. There's a Thunderbolt theme prize, a Superman theme prize. There's a CGC slab of Jurassic Park double signed by George Perez and Walt Simonson. There's a Superman Bermejo slab signed by Lee Bermejo. There's a Origin of Galactus slab in there, all kinds of cool stuff. So check out the video, enter it, and do that. I'll see you Wednesday, Mark. What happens Wednesday? What happens when that sounds ominous, brother?
New comic book day, is that what he's thinking about? You guys do that on Tuesday, right?
No, he doesn't. Tuesday. We don't live in the, like, I mean, technically we're in driving distance to each other for sure, but we don't go to the same LCS.
Okay.
And definitely for the record,
graduation. He says.
Oh, dude, I'm so burned out right now. Yeah, I'll be there. And we'll take a picture this time. Now that I know to look for you. Dude, I did a double take. I'm walking out and I open the door, and then I'm like, oh, what if someone's behind me? So I go to catch the door and I look up and he puts his arm out, grabs the door, and I'm like, Sledge. She's like, War, what's up? I'm like, weird, man. That's awesome. We had met before at the we went to there was a flea market Comic-Con, like where a bunch of local vendors rented out a flea market space to set up a flea market con, which was awesome. But this is the first time we've seen each other since then. So yeah, I look forward to seeing you at the graduation, my man. I'll definitely be there. The year after in July is Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow. So I'm glad you mentioned that. So when we get to Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow, if you're a channel member in the Legion tier, I do the monthly Legion Loot giveaway. For the record, I do giveaways every Tuesday during the new DC Day stream. Any and everybody can enter the giveaways, but I always try to do a special giveaway for the channel members once a month. So when it's Supergirl month, we'll have Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow, and also the first appearance of Lobo in Omega Man number 3. So we'll have that. That's just some warm-up stuff. And I also have an extra copy of the what book did they do the Lobo Jang cover on, Paul? That we just had?
It was the Summer of Superman.
Yeah,
Superman Summer Special.
Dude, that cover is fire.
In honor of Pete David, go out and buy some of the Pete David Supergirl run with Gary Frank. It was incredible.
Oh, here it is. Oh, God. What's happening? I got all kinds of Jang stuff under my desk at all times. Everything is always in arm's reach. Mm-hmm. I'm like Turok Sack. You know what I mean? Just reach in there and you got it. But that amazing John Jang Lobo, that will be part of it. Of course, there'll be tons of other stuff, big time collectible exclusives. Big shout out to them, channel sponsor. Yeah, appreciate you subbing it up. And definitely check out that join button. Consider joining the channel membership for extra perks. You get the loyalty badges next to your name. You get access to custom emojis, invites to private streams, early access to content. And if you join the Legion tier, you get your name on that monthly wheel. All right. We're about to make like a baby and head out, guys. I'm sorry. I like to ramble. I'm excited. And now John gets here and we have to start over. Thanks a lot. John, it's good to see you, my friend. But yeah, that's going to do it for tonight. Again, I'm going to keep rambling, so I'm just going to do a hard close. We love you guys. Until next time.
Is that it? Is that all you got?